There's nothing wrong with you, okay? You're not broken. You're not flawed. You're not doomed to fail. You're not failing because you're weak. You're failing because you have no plan. Eating straight from the bag, watching Netflix, feeling satisfied but also kind of disgusted by the fact that you've just eaten an entire bag of chips for dinner. I am not trying to spend hours in the kitchen perfectly portioning out my food and making sure that every single meal looks like a Pinterest board. All that does is set me up for failure, because inevitably life gets in the way, work gets crazy, kids get sick, and then I end up back at square one, throwing on the next episode of something and eating straight from the freezer, and your brain is tired of deciding on the spot. Coming home after a long day, throwing on your favorite show, you glance at the fridge and grab the first bag of chips you see. Your brain loves routine and predictability, but it hates stress. When you make your choices ahead of time, you take the stress out of decisions and you free up mental energy for more important things. For example, if you've already decided that you're going to meal prep this Sunday, then when Sunday rolls around, you won't feel the stress of having to decide whether or not to meal prep. You're not gonna be fighting with yourself like, oh, I should go grocery shopping, I should meal prep. No, you're just gonna do it because you already decided. Instead of focusing on a specific outcome, like losing 10 pounds in the next month, focus on creating a system that will help you eat well consistently. This is the best way to ensure long-term success. Focus on what you can control. Don't worry about the outcome. Well, the thing is, meal prepping doesn't have to be complicated, but it does have to be consistent. They want to meal prep for the entire week on Sunday, and they end up burning themselves out. Now, this might seem like a daunting task, especially if you're not used to going to the grocery store, but it's actually pretty simple. This is where you actually cook your food and portion it out into containers. Again, keep it simple. Don't try to make gourmet meals. This is probably the most important part of the whole process. Think about it. If you're trying to eat healthy, but you live in a house full of junk food, you're setting yourself up for failure. Your environment plays a huge role in your success. Just focus on cooking basic meals that you can eat throughout the week. Just stick to your list and don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it. Or they try to cook gourmet meals that they've never cooked before, and they end up making a mess in the kitchen and wasting food. Second, stock your kitchen with healthy food that you enjoy eating. Third, don't keep any unhealthy food in your car. It can be anything you want, but write it down. Then put your phone away across the room and stick to your plan. Fourth, meal prep so that you always have a healthy meal ready to go. And fifth, don't go to parties or events where you'll be tempted to eat junk food. My advice is to keep it simple. Meal prep the basics and then add variety throughout the week. For example, you could meal prep a big batch of chicken breast and sweet potato, and then throughout the week you could add different sauces and spices to make each meal feel new. You need a system so that every week you know what you're redoing and when you're redoing it. Otherwise, it's easy to fall off track. And the fact that you've already decided takes the pressure off, and it makes the whole process so much easier. First, figure out what you like to eat. I recommend picking recipes that you enjoy and that fit into your lifestyle. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Second, make a grocery list based on your recipes. Third, decide when you're going to go grocery shopping. Fourth, decide when you're going to meal prep. Fifth, meal prep. And sixth, decide how you're going to reheat your meals. What if the problem was never your willpower, but your strategy? She wanted to lose weight, but she felt overwhelmed by the thought of meal prepping. Just commit to a small change, like committing to meal prepping for just 20 minutes a week. So she started small. She just committed to meal prepping for 20 minutes a week. And in the first 2 weeks, she lost 4 pounds. Close your eyes for a second and imagine it's Sunday morning. The sun is shining in. You have coffee in one hand and you calmly chopping vegetables for a delicious salad you're going to eat all week. You have zero stress about what you're going to eat because you already decided. This is the power of planning ahead. In the next 4 weeks, she lost another 8. And in the following 6 months, she lost 40 pounds. Not only did Sally lose weight, but she also became more consistent in her eating habits. She didn't have to think about what she was eating all the time. She just followed her plan. And when life got in the way and she couldn't follow her plan exactly, she knew that she could still stay on track. If she stuck to her plan for just 20 minutes a week, she would win. And I know what you're thinking. Ooh, I can't do that gourmet meal prep thing. By the time your future self comes around to actually thinking about food, they're so hungry that they just grab whatever they see and eat it all. This is called chaos eating, and it leads to binges. That's because your brain knows that sleep is more important than food. So when you're tired, your brain will sacrifice your hunger in order to get the rest it needs. This means that you're more likely to grab the first thing you see to eat. In other words, the more tired you are, the less you'll think about what you're eating. What if the solution wasn't about more willpower, more self-control, or shaming yourself for the 57th time for eating a bag of desserts for dinner? In fact, neuroscience shows that the more decisions we make throughout the day, the less likely we are to make good ones. This is called decision fatigue. Every decision your brain makes depletes your mental energy. Pretty soon, your brain just wants to give up on making good choices. It takes too much energy. So instead, it grabs whatever is easy and convenient, which usually isn't the best choice. When you spontaneously eat whatever is in front of you, you are literally putting your future self on a starvation diet. Your brain doesn't love spontaneous decisions. Have you ever noticed how you're more likely to impulsively eat when you're tired? And here's where things get really interesting. One of my clients, Sally, struggles with this too. It's the same for you. If you want to stop impulse eating and start planning ahead, you don't have to overhaul your life. Now, I know what you're thinking, but I don't even know where to start, and that's okay. Let me help you. Today, we're going to reset your mind to plan ahead without the obsession. Step 1, plan. One of my favorite quotes is systems create results. We can apply this to our diets too. Okay, now let's talk about how to actually plan your meals. You might be wondering why you need a system for meal prepping. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make when they trying to meal prep is that they try to do too much. The second step is prep. Once you've planned your meals and made a grocery list, it's time to go to the store and buy your groceries. Once you've bought your groceries, it's time to meal prep. The third step is protect. To protect is to protect yourself from your environment. So how do you protect yourself from your environment? First, get rid of all the junk food in your house. If you follow these 5 steps, you'll be well on your way to stopping impulse eating and starting to plan ahead. It's time for a quick brain exercise. Write down one thing you're going to eat tomorrow. You don't have to get it perfect. You just have to get it predictable. Planning is self-love disguised as structure. Tomorrow, we're going to dive deeper into why you binge at night and how to stop. So make sure to subscribe if this hit deep. See you next week.